What's up with them hoes tonight? What's going on, YouTube? It's myself and Baby Jasmine back at it like a motherfucking crack at it. First of all, I want to thank all my subscribers, all my friends and family who subscribed and are supporting me. I'm getting a lot of feedback from you guys telling me that you guys like seeing Baby Jasmine. My mom actually ended up following me on my page and she's pretty proud of the videos I've done so far. So shout out to you, Mom. I love you. Today I'm going to be talking about how I came about buying my Miata, why I think you guys should buy a Miata for your first car, and why these cars are so much fun to drive. I did a review already of my Miata build, but I didn't really like it because of the audio setup I had. There was too much wind noise and there's so much backstory to the car that I don't think one video could cover everything that I've gone through and give this car justice. So I'm gonna make a couple part videos to explain, give a little bit of history on the car, and then I'll go over more about parts and everything that's on the car. So it's no mystery to everyone that everybody likes Camaros, Mustangs, or Chargers, because they're cars that you buy that have horsepower already. Of course, they have to be V8 or else you probably get made fun of. Mente. So a lot of people, for their first cars, they end up buying Mustangs, Camaros, or Challengers, anything with a V8 pretty much. And it's easy to see why. You get a lot of horsepower, and I don't know a lot of people that get their first car and are able to mod it the way they want to right away. So that played a big role in why I chose a Miata. I first got into Japanese cars because I would play video games like Need for Speed Underground, and those are the kind of games that let you customize your cars, and most of the cars on there were Japanese, and you pretty much could customize your car to fit your lifestyle, or make it look like something that no one else has on the road. So things like that, playing video games like that, and Fast and Furious has had a big influence on me on the type of cars that I liked, because having a Mustang or a Camaro, they come a dime a dozen here in California, and there's not really many that you see that catch your eye and make you say, oh wow, that's a really nice car. You see them every day, so you're kind of like turned off by them at a certain point. So that brings me to my first car that I ever owned. It was a Honda Prelude. It was a white one, 1996. It was automatic, front wheel drive, and I got that one from my mom. She bought it for me after I graduated high school when I was 18. So that was my first car I owned, and it was a salvage title actually, and it had a lot of miles, so I didn't put money in it because I knew sooner or later that car was gonna be done, and it was pretty much already ran to the ground. I was just gonna end up killing it off, and that car actually got stolen twice. They both of the times they ended up in Stockton. The last time it got stolen, they actually took some parts out of the engine, so I ended up just giving that car away to my sister at one point because I didn't feel like the need to replace the parts and put more money into it. My mom actually had the option of getting me an RX-7 at that time. That same owner was selling an RX-7, and it was a FC 1990. It was either 1990, between 1990 or 1993, I forget. But it was pretty much my dream car. I've always wanted an RX-7, and that one was almost in prestige condition. It had like ridiculously low miles. It was stick shift, about 40,000 miles, I want to say. It was all black on black. I mean, it was a beautiful car, and I would have much rather had that car. And the owner was willing to give it up in payments as well, because we were close to that owner's family at the time. And she ended up buying the Prelude because it was an automatic.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
Little did she know that was my dream car, but I got the Honda Prelude. After I got the Prelude, I mean, that wasn't a bad car. It was front wheel drive, so it was a fun car to drive, and that really started it all for me. After I got rid of that car, I went to Japan. I was stationed in Japan for 3 years, and one of my friends ended up giving me a 4-door Nissan Skyline. To me, it wasn't a big deal. I was leaving Island anyway too. I had like 6 months with that car, but he gave it to me for free because he was coming back to the States, and he didn't want to go through the hassle of selling the car and being without a car before he left Island. So he ended up just handing the title over to me, and then I ended up having that for a little while. Right-hand drive Nissan Skyline in Japan. So that was a little fun while it lasted, but at the time I was looking to come back to the States as well, so I needed to buy a car because I had given my Honda Prelude up already. And so I started looking for cars. I looked for Honda Preludes, Integras. I think I even looked into Honda Civics, and none of them were in the condition that I wanted. And I didn't have a big window to be looking for cars, so I expanded my search to other cars that I might like S2000s, 350Zs. I actually ended up looking into RSXs, and those were actually pretty expensive here in California. I wanted something a little bit more cheaper, something that wasn't gonna be expensive to buy cash and expensive to maintain. So that's how I stumbled upon Miatas. There's so many Miatas around the world. It's one of the best selling cars out there, and people don't really like them just because they lack power. But I just needed something reliable at the time that I was gonna be able to drive to school. So I ended up finding this car for $7,000 in Sacramento, and I called up my brothers. I told them, hey, I found this car. You guys should go take a look at it. If it is what they say it is, if it's in good condition, I got the money for it, and just take it home. So that's what ended up happening. They looked at the car. I'll show pictures of it when I was stock that the dealership had posted. And yeah, I purchased the car right away. It had very low miles. I think 2 owners with I want to say 50,000 miles or something like that, and the paint was in great condition. The only thing that it had was a chip on the front bumper, and I ended up fixing that myself, so no big deal. And the reason I think that everybody should own a Miata, because if you have a dream car, you don't want to put too many miles on your car. Like, let's say, for example, I have a Mustang Cobra. I don't want to put too many miles on it because this car has good value to it. For being a 2004, they're selling for anywhere from 20 grand to 18 grand, and they might go up in value. Who knows? So you don't want to put too many miles on it, and you want to have a daily car that's going to be reliable. Also, when you're modding your project car, you want to have something that's going to get you from point A to point B, because a lot of the times when you mod a car, they're not going to be up and running that same day. You're probably going to have it down for a week or two, and that's actually what ended up happening to me when I was building my Miata, when I was turboing it. I needed something to drive me from point A to point B, so I actually got a Cobra as my daily. So at the time that I was turboing the Miata, I was dailying the Cobra, but I was only going to school and back, so it wasn't that far of a drive. You want to make sure that you have a daily, because you don't want to beat your main car to the ground. This was always meant to be a car that I was gonna beat on, I was gonna daily drive, and it's an amazing car. I fell in love with it. The handling, now that it has a turbo, the power, everything about it is great, and I think it's a good stepping stone from your first car to your dream car, because a lot of people, when they buy a car, they don't think about the insurance, the maintenance, and the gas. So let's say you have a $300 payment, you're also gonna have insurance payment, which would probably end up being like $100 a month if you're gonna get some full coverage, which you should have. So that'll be $400 right there. Let's say another $100 for gas, so that's $500 a month. And for maintenance, like tires when it comes up, brakes, fluids, all that stuff, it adds up over time. So a lot of people don't think about that when they buy cars. So you'll see a lot of Mustangs and a lot of Camaro owners that, yes, they have Camaros SS or Mustang GTs, but they don't have rims on them, and they don't have as many mods as I have on my car. And it's not because they don't want the mods, but they can't afford the mods because of their car payment so high. So that's why it's good right now to buy a first generation Miata, because they're very cheap. A second generation like mine, they're still very cheap, and they're fun cars to drive. Once you pay off that car, you're able to save up for your dream car and for the mods. So having a Miata will help you step up to the next level and help you save up money for something that you really want, and all the mods that you want for your dream build. So that's why I think Miata is a good car to buy, because there's so many. You could find them in good condition for a good price. So now that I gave you guys a little bit of history, I'm gonna be going over a few of the mods that I've done to the car so far, and that'll be up in my next video, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching. Peace. Fuck it.